Should we restart, Ryan? Welcome back to the 1090 podcast. I'm here with Cristin
Almeida.
Almeida. Man. You know, you guys got cool names out here. Out in Utah, it's like Smith and Johnson.
It's him. My maiden name is Ryan, so.
Yeah, your husband's here too. What was your name?
Sergio.
Sergio. I love your hat.
Oh, thank you.
In honor of Tyler. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And a good accent from you, from like a Boston accent.
Boston, yeah.
I heard it, yeah, across the room.
Disguise mine.
Thank you so much for coming on. This, I love the fact that we get to come to Boston. I always wanted to be here, and so thanks for showing up.
Thanks for doing this.
All right. I'm going to read Tyler's obituary. You ready?
Yes.
And who wrote this?
The funeral director, he
Yeah.
asked us questions. We answered them, and then he came up with it. It's very generic. I actually feel terrible. My father-in-law's name is spelled incorrectly.
Oh, man.
It was a heavy time, and
Yeah.
who's prepared to write that?
I wasn't.
I rewrote it. I have it, but this is what's out there. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I just wanted you to be able to say that because that's very much the situation. We've had so many guests on that have said that, like, I didn't write this. I'm not really proud of it. Like, should have been better.
yeah,
So, no, I think those are normal feelings to have.
I think people when they're like, I don't know, they know they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Then that you can even write it yourself. But this was a smack in the face.
Yeah.
Smack in the face.
Yeah, okay. I'm not very good at reading, so if I pronounce anything wrong, feel free to just jump in and
Okay.
correct me.
Okay.
All right. Tyler Matthew Almeida, 17 of Nashua, passed away unexpectedly on Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. He was the beloved son of Sergio and Cristin Almeida. Born June 10th, 2003 in Lowell, he was currently a junior at Nashua High School North. He currently worked for Market Basket in Nashua and was well liked by his fellow associates. Last summer, he worked for Nashua Silver Knights and Holman Stadium in Nashua and had worked at Chick-fil-A. Tyler loved his family and will be remembered as a kind and loving soul. He enjoyed fishing, playing golf, playing video games, spending time with his many friends, as well as spending time with his girlfriend, Callie. He liked all kinds of sports, and he loved The Office. In addition to his parents, Sergio and Cristin, he is survived by his sister, Emma, and her boyfriend, Sam. His grandparents, William and Joyce Leonardo, is that?
It's Leoniju, but they spelled
okay.
it wrong, but it's okay.
No, sorry. Man, you guys got some names here. He will be especially missed by his dog, Toby. Is that an office name?
It's not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he came with the name, so it kind of worked out.
Okay. And then just stuff about social distancing, because this was during COVID, huh?
Yeah.
So we mentioned like how, you didn't write this. Is there anything else you want to say about Tyler before we dive into it? Loved sports. He loved The Office.
He loved every sport.
Sounds like he had a lot of friends, like likable kid.
He was the best. And I still get messages weekly from all of his friends that just tell me like they'll think of a story or, thank God for phones. Even though that's like a double-edged sword, like.
No, I totally know what you mean.
Yeah, like the photos that they have, the quick Snapchat, like I get all of those weekly from the kids.
Yeah.
Still, and this is.
'Cause I used to be like, put your phone down. Like, what are you taking a picture of everything? And then like when you lose someone, like, man, I wish I had more photos. Like, it switched on me pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were some of his favorite sports?
So he always wanted to play football. And ironically, I kept saying, no, I care about your head too much. I don't want you to play football. And he played flag football. And his team went all the way to Yukon for like a big,
No
I don't know,
way.
thing, championship. And he was so little. He was like 7, and he collided with another kid and ended up with the biggest black eye. And like they jumped over the fence. It was like a huge, huge thing. I was at the casino. Thankfully, I didn't see that. And
You were winning money the whole time.
no, might have been drinking too much, but yes, I was winning money.
Yeah.
So I nixed football. I was like, no football. He loved baseball. That was his love. When the accident happened, there was an accident. So when it happened and he couldn't play on the baseball team at high school, he was devastated. He was more devastated about that than anything.
I mean, I loved basketball in high school. Like that was.
And he played basketball.
And if you were to tell me like you can't play basketball anymore, I'd have been like, what's the point of going to high school? Like,
Right.
what am I
Yeah,
doing
that's
here?
how he cried. He didn't cry about he broke his femur. He didn't cry about that. He cried about
Man.
not playing baseball.
Yeah.
But he got to like, I don't know, be the manager or whatever. It's not the same, but
Yeah. Definitely not the same.
yeah, he played basketball when he was younger. Our city had or they still have it, like a bitty basketball. I don't know if they have it out there, but it's just like so cute, little tiny kids playing
Yeah,
basketball.
we call that junior jazz.
Junior jazz, okay, bitty basketball, and junior bitty. And then he got into golf. Golf was like,
Man, he could do it all then.
he ran track, he played golf, he played basketball, he played, I think, every sport, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Talented kid.
Yeah.
Well, where do you want to start with the story? It's your
I can
story.
start with what happened.
Okay. Let's do it.
It goes back a year and a half before he died. It was March 2nd. March 1st, actually, I had come home from a party, and he was home. He was a freshman in high school, and all of his snowboarding gear was at the door. And I looked at it, and I was like, ooh, this little stinker. Like, he didn't even ask, and he's like all packed up to go snowboarding. So I went up into his room, and I was like, do you have something to ask me? And he was like, oh, I'm going to go snowboarding with his girlfriend at the time and her dad. And I was like, no, you're not going. And he was like, why? I go, you didn't ask. That is a pet peeve of mine. Like, you just don't assume. It's expensive too. It's like going every few days, right? Because we live up closer to the mountains. So he said, he begged me to go. And I walked into my room and I said, I have a bad feeling. And he goes, you always have a bad feeling. And then I let him go. And the next day I woke up and he was already gone. And at 1:30 in the afternoon, I got a phone call. And his name just showed up and I answered it. And I said, what happened? Because I knew.
No way.
And it was his girlfriend. And she said, we think Tyler broke his leg. I don't know. When I hear a broken leg, I think like this area, your tibia. And I kept apologizing to them. I'm like, I had a bad feeling. I knew this was going to happen. And they're like, okay, we're waiting for the ski patrol to come and take him off the mountain and assess everything. So once they did, she called me back and she said, there's a helicopter coming. And I was like, wait, for a broken leg? Like, what? And she said, it's his femur. I mean, I don't think I'm a dummy, but I was like, what's a femur? And I think I was like, just kind of out of sorts. What the heck's a femur? I know what a femur is, but at the time I just was kind of.
Yeah.
And they had to do it to get him to the hospital because if the broken leg shifted, it would have pierced his femoral artery and he would have bled out. So
they kind of purposely broke it then, or?
No, it was broken in half. He hit a tree so hard that snowboarding hit a tree, broke his leg, and they had to keep it stable.
Or else it would.
Yeah. So the hospital that they took him to, it's named after a very big college in New Hampshire, very fancy college, an Ivy League school. And I thought, amazing. He's going to the best
He's
place
getting the
possible.
best help, best
Yep.
treatment.
And we live about 2.5 to 3 hours from there.
Wow.
And he was at work close to Boston. So, and
Your
I
husband
live,
was at work?
yeah. So he works more than anyone I know. So it was a Saturday, and he was taking a sweet time getting home. And so I was waiting outside. He hops in the car, or I hop in the car. I said, you're not driving. I'm driving. So I got there really fast, like fast. And I went in screaming like I was in a movie, like my kid just came in, via helicopter. And when I got there, he was on his phone. He's like, hey,
Tyler was just on his
just
phone.
on his phone. He should never have been on his phone. But he's sitting there, no collar around his neck. And I kept saying, how's his head? What about his head? And they were like, his head's fine. I said, okay, but you checked it. I think I asked, I don't know, 7 times, like, what about his head? They're like, his head is fine. He's going to be okay. The trauma team is here. They want to get him right into surgery. And I got to see him, talk to him. He goes into surgery. And that's where it all started, was there. And once he was walking the next day, and once he just started, and he was good, and I was like, he's gonna snowboard again, he's gonna be fine. They put a rod in his leg, a metal rod, and
Well, that's usually the story, right? Like, that's usually what happens. Like, you leave the hospital, you go home, and you heal, and you live the rest of your life.
yeah,
Yeah.
that wasn't our case. So freshman year, he was an excellent student. He ran for freshman vice president. He was on every whatever team, and everything changed. He didn't want to participate in sports. He was failing. And this is like over the next year. And November 18th, 2019, I brought him to a therapist. And we have the records that show he said, I keep getting these deja vus. And I get deja vu. Have you ever had deja vu?
couple times, yeah.
Yeah, like it happens. So whenever he would say it, I would just say, like, I get it too, bud. And then it kept getting progressively worse. His grades were getting worse. His attitude, his behavior, we've never, like, this kid was good. He was good. I mean, he was funny and like fresh, but he was a good kid. And he just changed to the point where I would say, like, who is that? And then he'd come down the stairs and there would be like a glimmer of him. And I'm like, the aliens brought him back. They gave him back to
A little
me.
glimpse of what he used to be.
Yeah. And we had him evaluated at school.
Was he on like medication at this time, or is this like you're just kind of watching him get back to from the hospital and just kind of progressing like this?
Yeah.
How long, like how many days, weeks, months do you think it took where you were like, what, like where did he go? Like,
So the accident was March 2nd. I brought him into the hospital. Well, here, let me go back a little bit. He had an excellent pediatrician. March 2nd was the accident. I got a letter on March 15th that said his doctor was leaving the practice because she was terminally ill. And I said, you know what? This is time for us to switch, because we were kind of far away. My kids weren't sick kids, so we weren't at the doctor's except for their physicals. So I was like, let's go where the accident, because we had a satellite doctor's office for the hospital that we went to, close to us. So I said, let's transition there. They have all the records for your leg, so if anything happens, they'll have that. So I got all his records from his old doctor, brought him to the new place. So that was March. June is when we got in there, and I was like, something's wrong with him. Like, I don't know who this kid is.
So like 3 months, he was different.
He was different, and the doctor asked questions like, do you smoke marijuana? And he was like, yes. We knew that. I'm not a big fan of like kids drinking. I would rather that if we're gonna pick fruit, I would choose that every time. I didn't like it because, I made his lungs. I worked really hard.
But it was clear like this was not marijuana related. Like,
Well, the doctor made me think it was.
oh, like,
But my gut was, something's wrong. Something is wrong. And I kept saying it to Sergio, and I'm like, something's wrong with him. And he's like, he's just a teenager. He made me second guess my gut instinct. And, you know, it took me a while. I'm not as mad as I used to be, but, you know, moms have a gut instinct. It's innate. It's what's in us.
The snowboarding story itself, when they called you, and you're like, yeah.
What happened?
I think like moms have that, man. They can just.
I still have it with them, but that's a different. So November 18th, 2019, he goes in, he talks about this deja vu with the therapist. And then he was evaluated for a learning disability because his grades went like drastically, like A's and B's, some C's every now and then, but like F's, fail, incomplete. Like, and he kept saying to me, I just keep forgetting. I'm forgetting to turn my stuff in.
Like the effort was kind of there, but like he was just scatterbrained.
Did the work.
Like,
I have his notebooks. Like the work was being done. He just wasn't remembering to turn it in. And so his memory was getting bad. And I even bought him this like little like notepad, and it was like reminders. And I put it on the fridge every day, and I would put things that he had to do, and he'd have to check them off. Just, I was helping him help himself. And it just kept getting worse. And then he would wake up in the morning and yell to me and be like, Mom, I just threw up on the floor. I'm like, what? Like, did you go out drinking? Like, what did you do last night? You know, I don't know if he's sneaking out. He's a teenager. Like, I don't know. He's like, nothing. I played video games and went to bed. And my house isn't very big, so he could run from his room to the bathroom, and he couldn't. He would just wake up and throw up. And then he started saying things like, I get these like weird smells and weird tastes and deja vu. And I'm like, that seems weird. So I brought him to the pediatrician again. And I told him, and he was like, this has to do with smoking marijuana. It's called marijuana overuse syndrome. I swear this man made it up. And he handed me some paperwork and said he needs to stop smoking marijuana. So now it's a fight, right? Like, I'm not a doctor. Oh, now we're fighting about it. And he's like, Mom, every time I smoke weed, the deja vus go away. My brain feels better. Like, this just doesn't sound right. And then he ended up getting an IEP for school because of his learning disability. But once the school evaluated, they were like, he's fine. Like, he's really smart. They slipped a piece of paper to us, and it was like, he doesn't need help, but he did. Yeah. So he had this like counselor at school that would like help him focus, like get his backpack organized, get his homework stuff organized, and
That's so weird because like he's running for school president. He's complete 180. Like that's got to be so weird.
That's why
parents just watching
aliens
this, like,
sucked him out.
And the frustration, like every time you go to get help, it's like, oh, he smokes weed, and you're like,
so now I'm yelling at him,
but maybe
fighting
it's
with him.
something else though. Yeah.
And he's telling the doctor, I keep getting deja vu, deja vu. And so then he would look up the symptoms and send them to me. And I'm like, epilepsy? Like, you think? Or migraines? So COVID happened, right? And shut everything down. And then he didn't have to go to school, and we didn't have to worry about schoolwork and like, you know, focusing or whatever. We could do it at home together. So I didn't put him on any, cause the doctor wanted to put him on like, I don't know, something for ADHD. And I said to him, I was like, this is a stimulant. Why would I give that to him if you say he has anxiety? And he was like, oh, let me give him something without a stimulant. And then I just said, you know what? I'm not giving it to him. It just didn't, my gut knew it wasn't that. It wasn't ADHD. So we had like a routine, a COVID school routine where he would do one class in his room, he'd move down and do another class in the living room, and then he'd go on the back deck. So he'd move around.
Yeah. Man, this COVID is just terrible timing because like it just helped hide how bad he was hurting maybe. Like it kind of just camouflage it almost. 'Cause
Yeah.
now, I was a high school teacher when COVID happened, and if it was anything like you taught, it just became a free for all. Like,
Yeah.
the teacher, like, no one taught me how to be an online. Like, I was in survival mode, so
Yeah.
I wasn't really. I was just giving people grades. Like, leave me
Right.
alone. I'm in survival mode. I'm trying to keep my job.
These
Like,
kids, as much as they would want to
and
stay
so
home,
like
they didn't want to stay home.
it'd be so easy. It like if Tyler's in my class, it'd be so easy. Like, oh, he's different. But because of this COVID thing, now it's like, yeah, not good
Yeah.
timing.
And then I had an issue. I had to have emergency spine surgery in September. And I was in the hospital recovering. They had to fuse discs. And he sent me a text and he was like, Mom, remember a few months ago when I woke up and just threw up on the floor? He said it happened again at like 5 a.m. And I was like, do you need to come here? Dad's at home. He can bring you to the hospital. And he was like, no, I'm fine. So he'd always say, like, I'm fine afterwards. But then he started looking like a zombie, like the darkness under his eye. He looked like he was strung out on drugs. And I'm sure, the doctor was like,
Or he's on marijuana.
right. But it looked worse than that. Like his eyes, that's how I knew. And
Was he like pale at all, or losing
he was
weight at
pale
all?
and dark, and he was losing weight. Teenagers should be eating, and
Yeah.
he kept losing weight. And when he got into the accident, he was 15 and he weighed 110 pounds, and he hit a tree so hard that broke his femur. What it did to the inside of his body, his brain, it smacked right against his skull. So that's what happened. It goes back to the accident. The day before the accident, totally fine, totally normal. The day after, he looked like a different kid. And then, obviously, going forward. And then I get out of the hospital. I'm doing better. And then I said, you know what? I'm calling a different doctor. So I called the practice and I said, I don't want to see the man we were seeing before. He's not listening to us. We need to see someone else. And they gave us a nurse practitioner. I love a nurse practitioner. They always listen. And she was like, he needs to see a neurologist. So she got us in to see one October 16th. And she listened to us. She was like, it sounds like he's having seizures as he's waking up in the morning, because it would explain why he'd wake up and throw up. And I was like, really? Like, I don't see anything, but his description was pure epilepsy, symptoms, every single one of them. And she said, let's get him in for an EEG. And we did that the day before Halloween, so the 30th of October. And I was in there for it. They put him to sleep. He had to count backwards, breathing. Well, he fell asleep. And he said, the doctor said, or the tech, he said, I'm going to wake him up by turning on these strobe lights. And if he's going to have a seizure, it will happen then. And I said, okay. So when he did wake him up, he hit the little wheelie chair that's in the hospital room the doctor sits on, and it woke him up before the lights. And I said to him, does this mean he'll have a delayed seizure? And he said, why would you say that? And I said, I don't know. You didn't wake him up with the lights. So the next day, Halloween, it was a weird Halloween. It snowed on Halloween. It was messy. And I was yelling at him about his grades. So I have a lot of guilt about that because the stress actually brings on seizures. And that day he had a huge seizure in front of us. We had just met his girlfriend, and she went upstairs with him, and she comes running down. She goes, Tyler's having a seizure. And I don't know why. Every time I think, I go, you're joking. I don't even know why I say it. You're joking. And she's like, I'm not joking. And so we run upstairs. My neighbors were over, and he was having a seizure. I thought he was dying. We called 911.
Is that the first seizure
that we saw?
Yeah, seizures are scary.
Yeah. And I have a cousin who has epilepsy, and she's living. She lives. She's fine.
Yeah.
So I wasn't I was scared, but I
Yeah,
wasn't.
watching your own kid have a seizure is that is not a good feeling, I could
I
imagine.
was kneeling on the floor. I was, not trying to restrain him, but like hold his hands, talking to him, letting him know that I'm there. I kept saying, he's dying, he's dying. And I think if we didn't see that, we probably wouldn't know why he died. And he went to the doctors, the hospital, and they were like, "You're doing the right thing. You're seeing a neurologist." We had an MRI scheduled for November 6th. And she also said she wanted to do this, like, it's the EEG where they stay in the hospital, they put a camera on your face, they monitor, like, what your eyes look like during like, whatever in your brain is happening. And we had all these plans. And then she said, "We're not going to do them." So November 6th, the MRI came back, nothing. They didn't see anything. Which he needed a different type of MRI. They would have seen the mark on his brain, but they didn't do that. So that Monday, she called me and said, "We didn't see anything. We're going to nix the plan. We're not going to give him medication, and we're not going to do the in the hospital EEG." And I was like, "But why?" And she said, "Let's give it 6 months. Don't have him drive, and have him get off of any marijuana." And I went, "Okay." Again, not a doctor. I didn't go to school for this, but I still was like, I don't know, this isn't right. So I started like researching doctors. I didn't think he would die. Like, again, my cousin lives with
I was
epilepsy.
gonna ask you, like, what's your thought process as this is unfolding? It's not death. It's probably I'm
No.
just trying to help him get better.
Right.
Healthier.
We just bought
How
him.
do we treat these?
We bought him a car. We want him to drive again. We want him.
It wasn't on the radar. No doctor ever mentioned it once, ever.
So, like a week and a half, November 6th, November 18th, November 17th, I had gotten the okay to go to PT because this was like a big deal. Like my spine, I had to see a physical therapist. And I thought life was going to be good. Like I was out of pain. Tyler's going to get the help he needs. I'm going to bring him to Boston. Like
The hope is there, like you can see it.
And then the 18th was my 43rd birthday. And I woke up at 5 in the morning, had to go to the bathroom, went back to bed. And I was like, "Oh my God, you're still here." He's gone by 5:15. And he was like, "Surprise, I took your birthday off." I've been with him for 27 years. He's never taken one birthday off.
Oh, Sergio, he's
Never one. Like, why is he home today?
yeah.
Right? And then my dad called. I talked to him for a little bit and I went back to sleep. And then I woke up and I said to Sergio, I was like, he's usually up by now. We have a routine. He comes and gets Toby. That was another sign I'll tell you about after, but he didn't come in the room to get Toby because I couldn't physically like feed Toby because I was in a neck brace, and so he would do it for me. And I said to Sergio, "Can you go in and check on him?" Like the night before, he did say that he had a big deja vu at work, but I don't know. I don't think. And Cameron Boyce, there's a whole like movement about SUDEP, which is what he died of. I should have known. I don't know. But
I think that's just the guilt talking.
oh yeah, I'm full of guilt. Yeah. So Sergio gets up and I'm sitting in bed. People are texting me, "Happy birthday today. I hope it's the best day ever." And that was a friend of mine messaged me at 8:33, 8:32. And at 8:33, I called 911 because he comes running in and he said, "Tyler's not breathing. He's got something coming out of his mouth. You need to call 911." And I was like, "What? You're joking." Again, you're joking. Like,
Just
why
shock,
the
denial.
heck would he ever joke about that? And I just thought, he's joking. And he went, I was like, what are you doing? He said, I got to get a face cloth to clean his face. So I get up and I'm like, he's joking. I go in and he was just laying there. And I touched his leg and it was still warm but cold, but he had the blankets off. So I was like, and you can tell he peed the bed. So that was another sign. He would wake up and pee the bed. He'd kill me for saying that, but that's part, you have a seizure, you pee. It just happens.
Out of your control, yeah.
So we called 911 and they instructed Sergio on how to do CPR on him. And then I had to put Toby in I had to lock him in the room because I had to go open the door for the EMTs. So my poor dog you don't think dogs but he's different. My dog is different now. He was depressed afterwards. He stopped eating and it was his dog. So they came in and we did CPR and they Narcaned him, I don't know, 3 or 4 times because they thought it was a drug overdose. And they put some line in him. Now I know that they did to give him medicine to wake him up. I don't know. And then they made me stay downstairs because I was hysterical. And weirdly, my friend showed up because she was going to take me out for breakfast. So she was there and she was like, what is happening at your house? And I didn't even see the text because I was, she thought she was coming to go get pancakes and this was unfolding. And then the stretcher was outside and there was an EMT standing outside and he just wasn't moving. And I kept saying, why isn't he coming in here? Why isn't he bringing that oxygen tank? Why isn't he coming in to take him out to the hospital? And he just wasn't. And she's like, it's okay. They're just setting everything up for him and get him to the hospital. And he didn't move. He didn't come in because he already knew. I saw Sergio run down the stairs and he was jumping up and down because they had told him at that point. And I kicked my coffee table and I think I fainted. And he died. He died. He just went to sleep and he died. I've gone to things, compassionate friends, and they're telling me about these messy murder-suicides and, drug overdoses. And then they come to me and I'm like, he just went to sleep and didn't wake up. So I felt bad going to those. I just was like, I can't do that anymore because, if you're going to wish for a death on anyone, my kid got the best deal, right? He just went to sleep and didn't wake up. But everything that unfolded that day was so bizarre. Felt like I was in a dream. I remember someone laid me on the couch and put a blanket on me and a police officer kneeled down next to me. And I don't know what he said, but I was like, but did you try to shock him? And he said, the machine tells you if you can shock someone. And he said, he was already gone. They couldn't have done that. And then detectives show up and medical examiner. And now we're in his room with him. He's on the floor. My daughter had come. She was at school. She was living at college. And she was about an hour away. And she got home. And the 3 of us were just on the floor with him. And we couldn't even be alone. They had men in pea coats, detectives. And just watching us cry, they wouldn't leave us alone. I don't know why, but I don't know if they thought there was something in the room or because we had to sign something that said that they can search his room. And Sorry.
No, I'm sorry we don't have any tissues for you.
I know you're not a tissue person. I do know that. Your therapist says you should cry.
Yeah.
I do listen. I listen all
Wow,
the time.
that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah. So, yeah, detectives were all just in the room. I was looking at his ears and his hands, and it was like the weirdest thing about all of it is how much life happens in a person's body, and when it's not there, how much of a difference there is. Like, he looked different. Like, why would he look different? Thank you so much, Ryan. Thanks. I'll stick him here. Why would he look different? But life fills you up. It fills your body, and life wasn't in him, and you can see it. And, Emma's at the top of his head, and Sergio's on his right side. I was on his left side, and we're just talking to him. And then I don't know how everyone found out. I think it was because it was my birthday, and someone took my phone and was telling people, like, Tyler died on Cristin's birthday. Like, so then people were just coming to my house. I don't even know how they knew or anything, but then they said to me, this woman is kneeling down, this medical examiner, and she says, what funeral home do you want? I was like, what? Wait, aren't you going to bring him to the hospital? Like, what do you mean, a funeral home? So I remember looking at her too, and she had makeup on, and it was early in the morning, and I was like, she does this job. Well, she's talking, and all I kept thinking was, she put makeup on to tell me that my kid is dead. Like, I don't know what happened in my brain, but I do think, or my therapist thinks, that I have dissociation. So I put things in a box and compartmentalize certain things. And so that's what I was thinking while she's talking to me. And then we called the funeral home in Lowell, and I don't even live in Lowell, but it's what my family knew. And the guy comes to my house, and he did my grandmother's funeral. And he said to me, you should probably go and get coffee. I was like, what? Why? And he said, we're going to take Tyler out of the house, and you don't want to be here for that. And I was like, well, I can't leave. You want me to go
get coffee?
Go get coffee right down the road?
I'll just go get a coffee.
I can't even drink.
I'll just stand in the coffee line, look at the menu, and just order a coffee.
I'm here. My son is being taken out of my house. Can I get a coffee? Like, I didn't even have a bra. I was in pajamas. Yeah.
Your husband was doing CPR on your kid.
If he was.
And then he died. And then, man, the anger just.
Oh, the anger that came after that.
It usually comes later because there's so much shock at first.
If he wasn't home.
And then usually sympathy comes later, like, oh, they were just trying to help. But man, ugh.
Yeah, no, I've gone through it. I've gone through it.
And then you go bad.
Times. I've gone through a few times.
Exactly.
But I do know if Serge wasn't home, I probably would be dead. If I knew that I couldn't save him, I would not be here. I would have been alone. Why? Why? Of all birthdays, that's the one he stayed home for. I don't know how to explain that. I'm not religious. Like I told you earlier, I used to sell Bibles. I'm definitely spiritual, not religious. But there was a reason he was home. I don't know. And then the aftermath after that, it was COVID. We had hundreds of people just coming to my house for like weeks on end. And that's where it became more of a party. And my brain was like, if these people leave, that's when the stuff will happen, like the bad stuff. And I didn't want anyone to leave. I would go to sleep. I would say, I need to go take a nap, but please don't leave. Just stay here. Because I knew once they did,
reality.
I don't know what the hell was going to happen
Yeah,
to
you
me.
had to face reality. Yeah.
And I remember just making it like a dance party, and afterwards I thought about it. I'm like, why would I do that? And then I realized it was because I didn't want the real life to begin. And I just wanted to have fun, and I just wanted people to stay at my house and want to be there because I did not want to be alone, because that was scary, being alone. And the people didn't, they wouldn't even let me drive. I couldn't leave my house by myself. It was, I just kept saying, I'm going to die. And I don't know if it was, I was planning to kill
Or just
myself.
the feeling of the grief.
I'm dying.
Yeah.
I'm dying. I'm dying. This is it. I'm dying. I don't know how else to
I,
explain it.
I think that's the feeling of when you lose a child.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
you feel
dying.
like you're going to die, but you don't.
The pit of my stomach. And I was like, no, I won't be here in 5 months or whatever. And I would think about it. I'm like, okay, today will be the day. I didn't have a plan. I didn't like say, today I'm going to take a bunch of pills, or today I'm going to, hang myself or stab myself. I didn't have a plan, but I was like, this is the day. And then I thought, Emma's going to come home and she's going to find me, and I'm going to change her for the worst. But I kept thinking, she's like Sergio.
Man.
She can live without me. And then on Christmas Eve, we still don't celebrate holidays, but we do, not like grand, but we have dinner. She was putting laundry in, and I was talking to my sister-in-law, and I said, yeah, I'm not going to be here in a few months. And I looked over at Emma, because our laundry room is off the dining room. And she didn't say anything. She just had tears coming down her eyes. And she just was like, I have to do this all over again with my mom. And that's when I knew I couldn't. But it took me a while to realize that, though, like fully, because I treated myself very badly after that.
I think, I'm just relating a lot. I think, man, that feeling of you're just gonna die, and the feeling of like, don't leave me, like, I kind of forgot about that, but I kind of stayed at my parents' house for a few weeks, maybe, and then my brother's, but like, there was just people there.
Yeah.
And it did feel like I can do this with all this help and people, and like, even the funeral, like, there's so many people, and then like, they leave you. And then like, man, this feeling of death, of like, I want to die, I need to die, I feel like I should die because my kid died, but you can't because of the guilt. And so, and for me, I was never close to taking my own life, but just death consumed my, like, I just would pray to die. Like, I just want, like, give me cancer, give me a car accident, give me,
Oh, I did that.
like,
Yeah.
give me a guilt-free way that Blue can't get mad at me, that I'm
Right.
out of here.
Right.
And that's what I did every day. I'd wake up like, maybe I'll die today. Like, they died in a random way. Like, maybe, like, that's how dark it is, because I just feel like losing a kid, that's like the noble thing to do. Like, I should be dead now. I don't know how.
Wherever they are, I need to be with them. That's how I thought.
And then it's so hard to communicate how you feel. Like, I love everyone here, but I do. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to die, but I do though.
Because I feel like I'm dying. Whatever is happening to me,
Yeah.
I'm dying. I'm physically dying. It was so painful. And I remember I met this woman, and she's probably going to watch this and maybe giggle, but her son died the same way. So I tried to find community in that, but not for a while. And she had said to me, this is going to sound so terrible. She's like, it's not going to be this way forever. Like, it's not going to be so sharp. And I looked at her and I was like, really? And my brain went, oh, you must not have loved him as much as I did. Like, how terrible is that?
I don't think it's terrible.
Because I couldn't imagine being where she is, right? Like,
Yeah.
she's still wounded, but And the way I describe my pain now is it's there, but it's round versus pointy.
I've never heard this before. I like
I just
this.
made it up.
No, I like to keep going.
That
Yeah.
sharpness isn't as sharp anymore. But preparing for this week, I really haven't cried too much, but this week, even the last 2 weeks, I've been crying just because I don't talk about it. I don't talk
Yeah.
about what happened. Everyone knows that I'm around, so it's not like I'm retelling the story. So to take it from that box that I put it in, it's back. But I need to. I need it because I've been saying, like, I don't know what my future is. And I feel like I hear him say, you have to tell my story. You can save someone else's life, Mom. Like, you have to tell my story. And that's when I reached out to you. And I was like, I think I'm supposed to be on your podcast. Mostly because I listen to it every week. Sometimes multiple a week, though. Yeah. And there's another podcast that I listened to that I started with. I couldn't get out of bed until I listened to 5 of them. That's 5 hours. And that was pee. I couldn't pee. I would just lay there and listen, get a drink of water, go to the bathroom. I wouldn't do it. I would just lay until I listened to the 5 episodes, and then I would get up because I just needed to know that
But
I wasn't alone.
Yeah, that was my question. Like, what
Yeah.
was it about it? And oh man, I remember just being in bed, and I remember like the first time I went to the grocery store, and I just felt like I conquered the world that day. Like, I went to the grocery store, man. Like, I've been in bed for 4 days. Like,
I haven't been to the grocery store that he worked at in 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's our closest, most inexpensive grocery store.
well, let's talk more. Let's talk about what did he die from, and let's get a little more specific into that to kind of bring awareness to.
Undiagnosed epilepsy. He died of SUDEP, which is sudden unexpected death in epilepsy. She just had to give him medication. He most likely would. I mean, it happens to people who take medication. There are adults that are on meds that are uncontrolled, but the type of seizures that he was having, where they were nocturnal, those were the most dangerous kind. Those are the kind that you have to be medicated for. And she didn't do it. And I guess it's 1 in 26 people will be diagnosed with epilepsy. That's insane.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And what we need to do, people, families that are in my position, is make sure that on the death certificate, which is also something I had to get, you have to go and get your kid's death certificate.
Yeah. For a lot of weird reasons, like,
Yeah.
oh, you need a death certificate. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be on the death certificate to make sure that there's proper research. The more it's on there,
Man.
the amount of people that have died that are just kind of like, I don't know, I woke up and he died. People were convicted of their spouses or a girlfriend or boyfriend's death because they just went to sleep and didn't wake up, and that they thought someone suffocated them, and it was a seizure in their sleep. And so I'm sure we were looked at, like I said, the investigators that were there were.
Yeah, that's why they're there. I mean,
Yeah.
I did an interview with someone. The father accidentally ran his child over in the driveway on the way to family vacation, and the cops were there. Like, and it's just hard because they got to do their job, obviously. But like, man, like, the worst thing literally in the world just happened to these people. Like,
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The timing is it's hard to listen to sometimes.
Right. So.
And then, sorry, but his condition with the seizures, like, it's from the snowboarding accident. Is that how most people who suffer from that, is that how they get it? Is like a traumatic head injury? Or?
So that's one of them, a traumatic brain injury. A lot of people coming back from war are diagnosed with epilepsy, like, explosions, people hitting their head. Some people are just born with it. Sometimes it comes along with like an autism diagnosis. there's so many ways to get epilepsy, but like the regular ones are like you're born with a genetic marker for
Okay.
epilepsy. And, you know, it's in my family. And I told the doctor this, you know, and she didn't listen, I guess. So we, you know, took legal action against her in the hospital for it. And I used to, during the beginning of that, because this is 4.5 years later, I was nasty. I was angry. I was mean. I wanted bad things to happen to her. I don't think about her anymore. I hope that she practices, you know, with us in mind for the better.
Is
And
that part of the reason where you felt like you wanted to go after it? Was so
yeah,
this doesn't keep happening?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And in the beginning, I was like, I want her in jail. I want her, you
I
know,
was gonna ask you this because I know what it's like to lose a kid for me, but like I don't have it attached with so much anger towards another person. Like, can you talk? And it sounds like you don't. I mean, you don't think about it anymore. Can you just talk about that? Anger is something I really struggle with a lot, and I think the amount of anger I'm going through and how much anger I show exhausts me. Like I'm pissed. Like I just want to punch everyone in the face right now.
yeah,
But all you see is like, "Hey, how you doing?" And
right.
it gets like exhausting.
I used to say like, why isn't anyone coming and stabbing me in the leg with like a tranquilizer gun? Because the inside of me was angry and swirling, but I presented pretty
Yeah,
normal.
yeah.
But I didn't think anyone could see that. And they'd always say, "You're so strong. You're so strong." And I'm like,
Like
"Oh,
you,
well, I almost burnt my freaking house down the other day. I'm not that strong,
you
guys."
should have seen me this morning when I was weeping and wailing in my
Right.
bathtub with
I
the
mean,
lights off. Like,
we as a family, we're on different pages. We do not grieve the same. We do not grieve together. I don't know what Sergio does. I don't know what Emma does. And I was angry with them for not doing what I was
like,
doing.
why aren't you guys grieving like this?
Yeah,
Like, you
and
guys don't care like I care then.
he went to work 2 weeks later, and
Oh, very
and
good example to use.
yeah, he in the first day he got back, he just walked in the room and he just started. My friend was there, and he just burst into tears. Sergio doesn't cry, and this is like the only time I've ever seen him cry, and he, that was it, and then we went to therapy, and he cried a little bit there, but I haven't seen him cry in like 3.5 years, and that would make me mad, so mad that I've punched him in the face. I've punched Emma in the face. Like it was bad. We were in a dark, dark home to the point where like he said to me, "I think I have to move out." And I was like, "Oh no, you're not. You're not leaving me in this house to do this alone." And so he didn't. And I think we're in such a huge different place. Like we're different people than we were 3 years ago, even a year ago.
What do you think made you get here? Make you so different? No, you're good. That's actually a good time for me to silence my phone.
I don't remember what you said. I'm sorry.
Ask that question and just what do you think changed to get you to that new place?
Yeah, like to go from such anger, and the anger is, yeah. What was it? Was it just?
So I was in the mindset of why me? Why me? Why'd this happen to him? Why us? And then once I started thinking, why not us? Like we're nobody better than anyone else.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Everyone's hurting out there.
everyone's fighting their own battle.
Podcasting, honestly, was kind of the reminder or lesson for me. It was like meeting all these people. Like, Jesus Christ. Like,
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. And I think once that happened, once I realized that I'm nobody better than the next person, something shifted in me, and we were getting closer to the legal stuff being finished, and I had to change the way I thought because I thought it was going to reflect negatively just karmically, like if I keep putting out this negative energy, we're not gonna get the result that we want. So it was like a year and a half ago, something changed. I was unhealthy. I would just go
Like self-sabotage, like
Oh.
eating
Eating,
horrible, drinking,
I would,
marijuana for me. I don't know about you, but
well, I
like,
do
yeah,
gummies to
just
go to
like,
sleep. But I would get up every day, right? I'd wake up, listen to the 5 podcasts, and then around 4 o'clock, I'd go down the street. There's a restaurant that his girlfriend's uncle is a bartender at, and I would just sit there. And then he would meet me, and I would have, I don't know, 2 bottles of wine, eat food, and then go home and then go, I don't want to be drunk tomorrow, so I have to eat something else. So I need French toast. I need to make French toast. I don't know. And then it caught up to me, and I canceled my physical because I was like, I don't care. Like,
yeah.
screw it. Like, whatever happens, happens. And I heard, it's so crazy when I say it out loud, but I hear him say, you need to call the doctor. And I did. And that's when I found out that like I had early stage, like fix your liver before it gets bad. And that's where everything kind of changed. Yoga, I started going to yoga.
Kind of realized, this was me too, but you realize like, okay, the worst thing happened, but now how I'm responding to it is costing me whatever I have left of this life. Like,
Yeah.
it can't can't take Tyler from me and this from me. Like, at least I have control of how I'm going to respond to it, basically.
And, you know, when you said to me when we were texting about like your 10% and your 90%, I was like, I don't know if I have one, but I think it's unfolding. I think it's happening. I think it's happening right now, like me figuring it out. And I think it was part of that, like, intuition of you need to reach out. You need to tell people about what happened to him because for the most part, no one knows. Like, my circle of people, but like
I mean, no one knows because it's so hard to talk about. No one wants to ask the little details. And,
the amount of people that assumed it was drugs or,
yeah.
and not that we're all,
I think what a lot of people do is when they look at someone else's story like yours is they try to make it make sense in their mind so they can sleep at night and make their world feel safe.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, a kid doesn't die unexpectedly.
Right.
He died of drugs.
Right.
And they're fine.
Right.
And you're over here like,
and not that like we're all in the same boat at this point, like, because I've met parents who've lost kids who've died of drug overdoses, and their story is horrible because of all the stuff they dealt with prior to the person finally. I feel like it's more of a drug poisoning because of fentanyl poisoning, but their end result is the same as mine, but their beginning of the story is different. And that is what I'd like to learn about. And that's part of this 90% of unfolding.
My new thought with the 90% thing, I honestly think, I don't think the 90% has anything to do with starting a foundation or a charity or a pod or whatever. I honestly think is just like the anger we were talking about. Can you live a life that anger doesn't control you? Can you be a good mom still? Can you allow yourself to be happy?
Yeah.
I think that's honest to God, like the 90% that we're really trying to, that's hard to do, that we really need. I think the other stuff helps with that, but
I'm different now that he died.
Yeah.
I almost feel like, and I know you've said it before, and sometimes I just talk to you. I'm like, yes, Mason, yes. You don't hear me, but I'm at my house doing it. But I feel like guilty because I think I'm a better person now that he died.
Man.
It's fucking bizarre.
I get this with Sammy. Like, man, like,
I'm a better partner.
I wish
to her.
I was like this record. Like, yeah, I get that a lot. And then I also I feel guilt for being in a relationship with Sammy because I think so much of Courtney still. So I just have
For her.
I just have
for
guilt
Sammy.
both ways. Like, sorry, Courtney, that I'm with Sammy, or sorry, Sammy, that I'm still in love with Courtney. Like, I just can't.
Sammy's
like,
a saint.
don't get me started on her.
She's a saint.
You brought up guilt.
Yeah.
It's something I've wanted to ask. How have you dealt with the guilt? Is that kind of like the anger? You're in a different spot with it, or
No, that one still tugs at me. When he died, I felt I was in the next room. He was safe in his house. You put your like as a baby, you put them to bed, and over time, the days build up and they get older, and he was safe in his bed. And the fact that I woke up at 5, I probably woke him up by getting up and like making noise, going to the bathroom, and waking up triggers a seizure. And I would lay in his bed and stare at the ceiling and just, what did he see? Did he see anything? Did he wake up and go,
man,
yeah.
I do this with my family. Like, what did that sandstorm look like? Like, how scared were they? Or were they asleep? Like, were my kids asleep?
Right,
I
because they were on a drive.
I just don't even know. Yeah, I don't.
How far into the drive were
It's like
they?
a 4-hour drive, and they were halfway, like 2 hours.
So the
in.
kids could have been asleep.
So they,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's not my story time, but I do think about that a lot, like that moment of how awful it must have been for them, and yeah,
I hope they were sleeping.
yeah, and like, did they get hit once, and they were like, what? They were hurting, and then they get hit. Like, I don't know. I just kind of put myself through a lot of pain with that one.
Yeah. No, I just, you know, that guilt that I was just, could he shout my name? Did I not hear him? Did I cause it? Was my stressing him, like my stress about his grades, causing him stress that caused seizures that like just kept getting
Yeah, I
worse and
think
stronger?
I wonder if it's because you just love them so much that like the guilt just gets intertwined with the loss, like, and you just. I was talking to Maggie, who just lost their son Jax to cancer, and they're just like an awful, like, just watching this kid suffer and then die. And she's like, yeah, my husband Corey feels really guilty because when he died, he was asleep in the other room, and it's just like kind of reminded me of you, like you were in the other room, like this idea of, and it's just so unnecessary, like.
I know, but tell that to me, right?
I know.
And I'll tell you not to have
Exactly.
guilt too.
Exactly.
But
That's the weird thing. Like, when you can have sympathy for other people and their guilt, like, you don't, like, I want to hug you. Like, you don't, you're a great mom. You didn't do anything wrong. But then, like, why wasn't I in the car? I can't believe I wasn't in the car.
Yeah.
So it's weird how that worked.
I don't know why we're here, what this is supposed to mean. But it's cruel, man. This is cruel.
Losing the kids, and then, yeah, it's just. I'm like, what back to your, sorry, we're kind of going all over the place now, but your friend's comment of it'll get better. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, it's definitely rounder.
Oh, yeah, the rounder thing, yeah.
Yeah, the pain is round, more like a fist punch instead of like a stabbing knife pain that was happening.
Yeah.
And I totally get what she meant when she said it. That was only like, I don't know, 5 months after he died. So I was in it.
Did you ever transition from, you just think of moments with him and it just breaks you and you cry, and now maybe you can think of that same moment and it might make you happy? Or
Yeah.
I've started to experience that.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm meeting more people who've lost kids, and somehow I'm being helpful. Like, I would never have thought that ever. I'm like, I don't know, if you want to go get a drink, I can do that with you. But now I feel like, I met someone recently, and I won't get into her story because it is her story, but, she had said, I just want to die. It was her only kid. And I said, I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you if you did. I hope you don't, though, because who's gonna tell their story? We saw Colin Campbell's show. I told you, yeah.
I love Colin Campbell.
I read. When I say read, I listened to his book because I have a hard time reading.
My favorite book ever.
Oh, you've listened to it, right?
Finding the words.
Yeah. And so when we did, when I was listening to it, I was trying to chop up snow because we had mounds of ice out front. And I'm sure my neighbors were like, oh, this is it. She's losing it. Because I was just out there like hacking ice, hacking snow. And because I wanted it to melt, right? Like once it's spread out, it'll melt.
Cristin's losing
And
it.
she's losing it.
She's chopping ice.
I know they've heard me screaming. I know. And this is it. They're witnessing it. And then I
Her
said,
son died of drugs, and now she's losing it.
Right,
Like,
right.
just can't. They don't know
Right, they
what's
have
going
no
on.
idea. So I had said I saw that Colin was coming to the Boston area. It was like Newton area, I think. And when we went to the show, he said, "You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna get mad, you're gonna get sad." Like and I had every single bit, but like the funniness of the whole thing.
Oh man.
But he said, people expected him and his wife to like kill themselves. And he was like, I thought of it, but who the heck is going to tell Ruby and Hart's story if we're not here? And that's what I try to tell people now. Like, if I'm gone, and I had told this to my new friend who, she has grandchildren, his kids. And I said, like, if one of them gets to a certain age, they won't have you to say, like, did my dad do this at this age, just like me? I don't have that. I don't have that bit from Tyler. Like, when he died, I had my cousin on the phone with the medical examiner, and I said, you ask her to get his sperm. I want it. We can freeze it. I can have someone have his baby. I had another friend that was like, I will have his baby. I will have his baby. She was in college.
The legacy will live on.
Yes, I will do this. And the medical examiner said she couldn't. She didn't have the tools. I'm like, bullshit. Like, you have them. It wasn't ethically responsible of her. But I wanted anything of him.
Yeah.
Right? And she has that. She's lucky in that aspect. I have something she doesn't, is my daughter. I have a daughter who is hilarious, and she's the reason I'm still here. She physically fed me water, fed me food. She was 20 when this happened, and she moved out of college. She moved home. She commuted. And, since then, she just got her master's the other day. She's come a long way. Like,
that's so great. Yeah.
I see. It's so weird because I see hope for us, and our picture is different now. Like, her graduation, it's the three of us. We were the family that parent-teacher nights, all of us came. Like, my daughter would come home from school to go to Tyler's open houses at school, and the teachers would say, oh, you guys are the family that all come together. Like, it wasn't just the mom and dad, it was all four of us. And our picture looks different, and it's beautifully broken, but it's still broken. But we're definitely healing.
Yeah, it's still beautiful too.
Yeah. And the fact that, like, he died on my birthday. Like, do you understand how many times you say your birthday?
We need to talk about that more. Like, what's your birthday like even now? Do you just...
We go to Mexico. we go away. We hop on a plane, and I'm like, adios. I need to get the F out of here.
Oh, man.
Every year. I just said to Sergio, I'm like, I can't be here. But, like, do you know, like, you say your birthday, like, you go to the pharmacy, you have to press it in a phone thing. Like, the amount of times you say your birthday every time you go to the doctor's.
When's your birthday? Happy birthday.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I took it off, like, social media. Like, it's not, no one can say happy birthday to me anymore. Just because.
And, like, the day of when you lose the loved one, it does feel like a dream, like a nightmare, like, not real. Like when that person asks you, like, what cemetery do you want to use, or whatever she asked,
What
like,
funeral home?
what funeral home?
Yeah.
And you're just like, I remember getting asked, like, do you want to donate their organs? And I'm just like, just trying to like accept this thing. And so much of it just feels like a dream. I bet with it being your birthday, the start of that morning, surgery, like, and then you're just whipped in. It's supposed to be one of the best days of the year for you, and then it just turns into the worst day of your life.
Oh, I didn't just do a birthday. I did a birth month.
That just has to be like add to the dream factor. Like this isn't real. Like
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah. The day I was born, the day that I landed on this planet was the day my son was taken from it. It's just this weird, tragically beautiful circle of
Oh yeah.
life and death. And the other problem I had was like, I can't fix this. I could fix anything. I pretty much got everything I ever wanted. Like, something bad happened, I can fix it. I can figure it away. I couldn't fix this. And that was one of my biggest, like, guilty things. Like, I can't fix this. I can't go back in time and get him back or go in his room at 5 because he did have a big deja vu the night before. Like, I should have gotten up and went and checked on him. I should have gone in and said, is he all right? But, he's woken up many times after a deja vu and vomited, and he was fine. No one told me he could die, especially in the beginning. Like, this was happening for a year and a half, and I just didn't know. I did, but I didn't. And that's guilt.
The relationship you had with him before he died was really good, I think.
Yeah.
That give you a lot of peace and comfort.
Yeah. When his freshman year, I'll tell you a story. On Friday nights, we would like go downtown to our like local Irish pub, and he would always get a root beer or an orange soda, and I had wine, and we would eat, and we were leaving. I mean, he's a freshman in high school. It's new, right? Like, and some kids were like, "Hey, Tyler," and they're like, "Ba ba ba." And I'm like, "You gonna go to so-and-so's party later?" And he actually said, "Nah, I'm gonna hang out with my mom." It's like,
What a badass. That's a good answer.
and then, after he died, when we finally got his phone back, because the police took his phone, and we found out all of his passwords to all of his apps were my mom, 10/17, which is 1 month and 1 day before my birthday. So November 11, 18, but they were capital letters, my mom, 10/17, just for everything. And then to get into his phone was Spider-Man's locker combination. So that, someone told me that, and then I had to Google it so I can get into his phone. And so I do have all of his memories, and but we were very close. And that last year is also hard because he was a different kid, and he was making us so angry, and and I wish I could go back to COVID and, like, I don't know, redo it, or and it sounds so weird, but I miss the pain part, the sharp part.
Wow.
I miss that. I'm sad that I don't have it, and I think it has to do with me, that pain just bringing me closer to him that day or the day before. The pain of it, the sharp, hard part, just means he was here sooner. And the longer that I don't have it, it's further away from him.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean. And the sharp and the round pain, it is, I totally get it, because you get stronger, so it's easier to carry the weight. But like in other ways, it gets sharper because like Frankie should be 6 now.
I know.
Tyler should be like 22 almost.
He'll be 22, yeah.
And so in other ways, it hurts more. Like I haven't seen him, but you're right. Like in other ways, and I do, man, it's such a, you miss the sharp. Yeah, it's kind of like you're in so much pain and misery, but like you're kind of comfortable in the pain and misery, and you're like,
Yeah.
I can hurt this bad if
Yeah.
that's what it takes.
And I think it's part of guilt. Like,
yeah,
you don't have that sharp pain anymore.
like
And
why not?
yeah. what happened?
What
Like,
am
you're
I-
good now?
Like, we're just gonna
We're moving
date.
on.
We're just gonna fall in love with Sammy now.
Right.
Like, okay. Yeah, like,
I
not
know.
good. And again, we said it earlier talking about the 90%, but I think that's the hardest part of the 90 is like, you gotta be happy, dude.
Yeah.
Like, good luck with that.
Right. We definitely have happy moments. I'm grateful for that. And I do feel it doesn't happen all the time, and I think it's his energy. Like, I'll get this overwhelming contentment. I do feel guilty about that, but almost like I'm getting this softening. And I'm like, is that him hugging me? Like, I could take a deep breath for a minute and just go, I'm okay right now. I'm okay. I'm okay.
What is your communication like with Tyler today? Like, you talk to him? Or do you,
So
what do you do?
I hear him. Not all the time. Not all the time. And I don't know if everyone's gonna think I'm nuts, but I'll hear him say, Mom, go in my room. And when I do, his light turns on.
That's so cool.
His light just turns on. And we would, one day I was coming into the city, into Boston, in his car, because we drive his car. And I leave his phone home, and I'm in a parking garage, in his car, his phone connected and is shuffling songs. Emma had my car one day, and she was at Wendy's. We were a little hungover, so we had to have
Classic.
some greasy food.
Yeah, you get double junior bacon, chili.
Spicy chicken sandwich,
Oh, wow.
which was his favorite. So she calls me on the phone, and she goes, Mom, I'm in Wendy's parking lot. Where's Tyler's phone? And I said, it's next to me. She's like, it's connected to the car. And I live, I don't know, 2 miles from the Wendy's.
Yeah.
The things that he does, I'm always a skeptic. Serge is
too.
a bigger skeptic than I am.
Me too, yeah.
And he now is more like, holy shit,
Yeah.
right? When you say?
Can't explain.
This stuff didn't happen before he did, and it happens now. Like, stuff with his girlfriend, Callie, like her stuff in her house that happened. I don't think it happens anymore. She lives at school now, but stuff still, his light came on yesterday, and it hadn't come on for me since February. And it used to be more often. And I hear him say, have you listened to the telepathy tapes?
I haven't.
Have you heard of them?
I haven't.
Oh.
Game changer.
Oh.
Telepathy tapes.
It's the woman who does it is called Kai Dickens, and it has to do with autistic kids and parents connecting to them.
Wow.
It is the most fascinating.
Yeah, that sounds.
And it's given me hope. Because, you don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know.
Yeah.
But these things are unexplainable. I have them recorded.
I feel like once you see one or two and you open your mind, you start to see it more and more.
Yeah.
I feel like, wow. Like,
And I feel bad because not everyone gets what I get. Like, I've met people and they're like, yeah, we get a sign, a dragonfly landed on me. It wouldn't leave. And I'm like, that's beautiful. My son literally lights up my house. Like, sends
plays
us blinking lights.
playing music on his phone.
Seriously, one day, it was the beginning of August, and I had come home, and Sergio was downstairs, and the windows were open. And I was like, what's that noise? He's like, oh, probably someone outside. I'm like, no. It's like fully conversating in this house. So I made him shut the TV off, and our street is very quiet. Like, no one's out. And I'm walking up the stairs, and I'm like, it's getting louder. His phone was playing a podcast. His phone just turned on. It was playing for 42 minutes or something like that. And it's just playing. And I was like, just talking to Sergio, did you touch it? Did you turn it on? And when like you open the phone and it's like something brand new and it'll say continue. He hadn't opened the podcast yet. So it was just playing. It's just playing on his phone.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for those things. I'm hopeful that I see him again. And if I was guaranteed this, I probably wouldn't be here. If I was guaranteed I would be with him and see him, I wouldn't be here.
Like doing this podcast right now, or like
No, no,
being
no.
alive?
On Earth, on the planet.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have. If someone said, if you end your situation, you will be with him 100%, I would have done it early on. But just that weird part that you just don't know.
Yeah, and getting back to Colin Campbell real quick, one thing he told me on the episode we did together was, because he's an atheist, so I asked, we were just kind of in that realm, and I asked him, like, so, like, what are your beliefs with your kids? Like, will you see them again or whatever? And he's like, well, I think they're alive inside of me. Like,
Yeah.
they are alive inside of me, and so I have to live my life to feel them and to be with them, and I have to tell their story. And I just thought it was a very beautiful way to look at it. And I think you just kind of reminded me of it, like, we might not see them.
Right.
That's a possibility. I mean, I hope we will. But in case we don't, it's a good reason to stay. Like you've been saying, to tell their story, to keep them
Right.
alive, because once you go, that might be good.
And I got that from Colin Campbell.
Yeah.
He did. And I think that's when the shift started changing
Yeah,
for
like,
me.
oh, it's up to me to,
Yeah.
what does this mean for Tyler? It's up to me. Like, what are we going to do about it? Like, are we
Yeah.
going to talk about him? Are we going to live a life and be happy again? Are we going to put ourselves out there to experience heartbreak again? Like, are we going to do all those things?
Yeah.
Or not?
I mean, I heard you, I forget which episode it was, but you were saying, like, the fact that, like, how much you love Sammy and the thought that this could happen again
Yeah, like,
at
what am I
any
doing?
moment.
What
Yeah.
am I doing?
Right.
Yeah.
But are you supposed to stop that?
Yeah.
Because, I
Right.
mean, in the fact that, like, Colin went and adopted.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's brave, man.
A couple times, I think.
Yeah. I know he had a foster that, like, it didn't work
Didn't
out.
work out. And then I think they did another one, though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm hopeful for the future. I feel his drive. He's pushing me, whatever that means, wherever he is. If that's me, just hoping that it's him. But I definitely feel like it's got to be
Yeah.
more than this. And I do believe this is more like hell. I'm not
Oh, man.
a religious person.
Do you ever
like I
think,
said.
like, you died and you're in hell?
Yeah,
I thought that.
yeah.
Do you ever still think you're in a dream?
Sometimes.
Sometimes I still
Yeah.
think, like, maybe I'm in a dream.
Yeah,
Like, still suffering from denial over here.
Yeah.
But,
I know. Yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, like, that I can do something. And the other part that bothers me is I didn't get to be, I don't know where I am anymore. I don't know. Tyler died before he was diagnosed, so am I a part of the epilepsy community?
oh, like, yeah, like, where do you belong with these grieving?
Right. And, like,
parents?
people will say to me, oh, so-and-so just got diagnosed. Their kid just got diagnosed. Can you talk to them? I'm like,
Well, we didn't get
Jesus, like,
diagnosed.
I'm the worst case scenario. Like, you want
Yeah.
them to talk to me? Like, take your medicine, make sure you're, regimented, like, sleeping properly, eating properly. Like, there's a whole thing that goes along with it. But Tyler died. So I'm scary to those people. So I don't know where I fall in. Like, I want to help out in the epilepsy community, but I also don't, because I'm angry that we never got the diagnosis that he should have gotten.
Yeah, like, you weren't in that community. You didn't
Right.
get, and if you'd had, it
Right.
might be way different for you guys.
Yeah. So I have feelings about that too. I think you've said this before, but, like, I don't know who I am anymore.
Yeah.
I was Emma and Tyler's mom. Like,
And I mean, you literally die inside when your kid dies. So, like,
Yeah.
it goes back to, like, you just lose your identity almost. Like, I don't know what I even want to believe in anymore.
yeah. And the metaphor of, like, the fallen tree and, like,
Yeah.
it's still flowers, things
Yeah.
will grow right through it. I do feel that. Like, that's who I am.
Yeah.
Like, broken, but something's growing. And that, I think, is my 90% is, like, figuring that out. And, like, I think it's beautiful, but icky too.
the worst thing happened. Anything, we talked about it a little bit with guilt, like guilt I have for being a better spouse or a better person for Sammy. I was forgetting where I was going with that.
Oh, I do it all the time. Every
Right.
time you blip out, I'm like, I do it. I know it. Sometimes it goes away. I'm like, it might come back. I don't know.
But I was going to ask you about guilt again, but anything else you wanted to talk about or say before we get to movies?
I just want to say, like, how good of a boy he was. I've gotten letters from kids.
That's the best.
It's the best. Like, you always think, I did good. I taught him right. I think he's going to be okay. I mean, he was a class clown. He was funny. But I got a message from a girl who said in middle school, she attempted suicide. And she said Tyler was the only boy that went and sent her a message that he's glad she's back and he's glad she's okay. And she said that stuck with her. And then another boy, I had to get these messages for my legal stuff. They wanted to know his character, like who he was and like what we lost as a human race. Like, we lost this boy that was special and he could have helped someone, and he did. And this other boy wrote me, and he said that in middle school he wasn't popular and kids were mean to him. And he said Tyler never joined in. And in high school there was a class that he didn't know anyone, this boy. I don't want to say their names, just
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to. I didn't ask them if I could tell the story, but he said that Tyler never joined in, and he made sure to talk to him because he called him one of the popular kids, and he made sure that he took him under his wing, and like ever since then other kids started talking to him. So Tyler was a good bridge connector. He brought, I don't want to, popular kids and like kids that were quirky or funny in different ways.
I love that so much.
And
yeah.
he brought them in to like the popular group, and so that other kids would see him differently. And that, as a mom, that is like a hug,
Yeah, that's got to make you feel good. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorite things when people come up and tell me a story about Courtney. Or I had a guy come up to me after a basketball game. He's like, I knew your brother Race, played blackjack with him. He was so fun. And just told me about Race a little bit. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Like,
That I love,
one of the best things.
because people are afraid to talk to you,
They are. Like, the loneliness is real because they're kind of scared of you. Like, they don't know what to say or how
Yeah.
you'll react. And,
My thing is always, you can say the wrong thing and be forgiven for it, but if you say nothing, I can't forgive you for that because you're literally saying nothing. But if you said something to me and it was wrong, I could forgive you for that.
Yeah, like, thanks for trying.
Yeah, thanks.
May have pissed me off.
Right.
Like, thanks for showing
Yeah,
up.
and I can forgive you. But if you don't, the people that I've lost,
Yeah.
I've lost a lot of
lot.
family, friends, a lot of family, actually.
I thought I didn't, and then if I actually sit down and think about it, like, yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people not. Yeah. How you and Sergio, you guys are? How's the marriage?
It was rough.
Because sounded like it was rough there.
It was rough.
How you guys doing
I
these
think-
days?
We're definitely better. It was really dark. And then we pretty much had last February, we had a session with my therapist. My therapist, he doesn't see her, but, and I gave him a year to like, because he's very quiet. He doesn't talk about anything. So I was like, I feel like I'm doing my part. I'm going to therapy. I'm going to yoga. I'm trying to like learn different techniques to help me. And I think you're not doing anything except getting up and going to work. And you need to do something. And he's definitely so much better. So we're gonna stick it out, I guess, for a while. I don't know. It's how long? 20. We've been together 27 years.
Yeah,
You know, it's not always been good. Even when Tyler was alive, it wasn't great. But
Yeah.
you know, I don't know what will happen. I hope we continue on this positive path, because the last year it was a little rough, and then I don't want to say all him, because I'm not easy.
Oh yeah, and people grieve differently too, like we
do.
said, like, and it can be frustrating, but that's
Yeah.
just the reality. Like, I mean, the fact that he went back to work, like, I could not, but that's what some people
I
need
quit
to
my
be busy.
job.
Like, I need to work and keep
Yeah.
my mind.
And
Yeah.
that's who he was before, so it makes sense. Like, he gets up
Yeah.
he leaves the house at 5:15 and he comes home at 8 o'clock every night. That's how he deals. Like,
Yeah.
but that's who he was before Tyler died. I think we're good. What do you think?
Sound good. A lot better.
A lot better. And it's almost like the dark green smoky cloud in my house is lifted. That icky.
Yeah, the grief
Yeah.
cloud, we'll call it.
Yeah. I just wish we could talk about our grief more. I think, maybe I don't know. Emma doesn't. We talk about Tyler. We talk about him all the time, but we don't talk about our feelings to each other about.
Like, I want to die.
Yeah, we don't.
I don't know if you're at that point anymore. Just an example.
Yeah. But
Things
like,
we're not talking about, like.
yeah, we just don't do it anymore.
The thing with talking, real quick though, is like it sucks at first. It makes everything worse at 1st. And I remember thinking, like, why am I talking about this? Like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Like, give me some whiskey and like I don't.
Oh.
And so like, it's hard, man. It's hard to keep talking about it. And then, from my experience, the more I talked about it, the more control I got of my life again. Like, I could kind of dictate my day again and not just be consumed with these emotions I had no control over.
I used to go when I'd sit at the restaurant bar, not just like a divey bar. I was a little classy.
Yeah, you're classy.
I would sit there and someone would tap me on the shoulder like, why are you here alone? People are very ballsy when you're by yourself. They want to talk to you.
Why are you here?
Yeah, why are you all by yourself, girl?
Oh,
like,
your
by
son's
yourself.
on drugs, huh? Yeah, that's...
So I'd go, my son died and I don't cook anymore. And they'd either
Oh,
be like, I'm so sorry, and they'd turn their back, or they'd engage with me. And I have so many new friends because of this.
yeah.
Yeah, I've had a lot of like new friends that I call them earth angels, that I feel like they were just sent to me to help me get through
Yeah.
things that, you know, my actual close family and friends couldn't do, you know?
That's how I feel with podcasting. Like, these is like everyone I interview is kind of like in my friend group, because I don't know what my friends and family think of me like talking about it so much and wanting to keep talking about it. But I simply just need to and want to still at this point. And so I don't.
So you're not alone.
Yeah, it's just hard for me to feel welcome like all the time. Like, this is what I want to talk about. And so podcasting has allowed me to find people like you. And real quick on communication with our dead loved ones, I think Courtney and my kids and Race and Ryder, I think they helped me find my guests on the podcast. Like, me and Ryan put zero effort into it. And like, the amount of people that we find and the type of people that we find, and then we record on weird dates. Like, we often record on dates of the death date or their birthday. Like, it's just these weird synchronicities. And I don't know, it just brings me a lot of joy.
Well, when you said this might come out in 2 months, like posted, 2 months would be Tyler's birthday. So
yeah, like
Yeah.
another example. Like,
Yeah.
and we should make sure we do that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's beautifully
tragic.
as you'd say.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm finding who I am. I don't, like I said, I used to just be Emma and Tyler's mom. I mean, I was Cristin
Yeah.
too, but I was their mother only
Yeah.
for everything. And that's weird. Like, I feel, 17 years I had with this kid. and now I just don't. It's, ripped from me.
Yeah. So unfair.
So I have to figure out who I am without him.
Yeah.
And that's been probably the hardest part of all of it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on and talking about it.
Thanks for having
Are
me.
you ready to end on somewhat of a positive note and
Yeah.
talk about movies?
I know. I
real
was like,
quick?
what movies? All right. So I have Wedding Crashers.
Oh, yes. I
Anytime
love
it could be on in
Wedding
the middle of
Crashers.
the movie, I will watch it. It is one of the best. Forrest Gump,
Classic.
because Tom Hanks, like, who doesn't love him?
Life is like a box of chocolates.
It is.
Sometimes you get the coconut one. Like you got
I
the
would never.
coconut
I
one.
would spit it out.
Yeah.
And Interstellar.
Oh, wow. Good
Yeah.
pick.
Have you seen it?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Tyler's favorite movie.
Great movie.
And it kind of means something to me now. He made me watch it because he was so moved by it. Says that about a kid. He was so moved by it. But it gives me hope, that one.
Yeah, I love the music in that movie. That scene where, is it Mr. Man or I don't know their names, but their spaceship gets damaged and he's trying to reconnect to the thing. Sorry, Ryan, you want to get that?
Someone else.
I think it's our next podcast.
Sorry.
No, you're good. We got chatting. Like no, we're good. Anyway, I just love the music in that movie. But
Yeah.
thanks for coming on. Life's 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it.
Thank you.